the fun night that we're gonna have tonight. Can y'all please give a round of applause for y'all for coming out tonight, especially after all the storms this past week? So welcome to our monthly comedy series, House of Laughs, here at House of Smith. Thank you, House of Smith, for allowing us to host. They have the great wine, best wine in the area. I sound like Trump, don't I? Best wine, you know, but y'all go ahead and peruse the bar and get excited for tonight. My name is Junior. I'm the one that kind of puts these shows together, and tonight I'm also going to be your host. And we got some great comics coming from out of town. One come all the way from California, the Bay. Oh yeah, all the way from us. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. So it's cool to not produce a show sometimes. So I just was in Yakima on Friday performing. And as soon as I started, I told them, you know, that I drove up from Walla Walla, and this lady cuts me off, and she's like, "There's black people in Walla Walla?" And I'm just like, oh yes. I get to start messing with the audience this early, so you know me. I'm like, yeah, actually, do you remember those African kids that Angelina Jolie adopted? Yeah, that's how I came to Walla Walla. She's like, really? I'm like, no, like, don't be. I'm like, no, you're tripping. I'm like, no, but honestly, did you know about the story of the young man who was homeless and then he got adopted by Sandra Bullock and made it to the NFL? And she was like, oh my God, that is you. I'm like, you're 0 for 2 right now. 3 times you're racist, you know what I'm saying? Sheesh. I was like, okay. Being transparent, I arrived in Walla Walla on a prison bus. I did my bid, and now I'm finishing off my time before I get off parole. And I was looking at her face, and she's like, damn, I want to believe him, but now am I going to become a social pariah after this? Like, how do I respond? I'm just like, okay. But eventually, the thing is, if we include the prison population, there are a lot of young black men in Walla Walla. You know, the penitentiary recruits young black men better than Nick Saban does. She's like, I don't want to laugh. It's okay, you can laugh, I said it, you know? No, but I quickly realized that she was just suffering from a big case of jungle fever. And lo and behold, after the show, she showed me a picture of her kids. And the younger 2 kids, they were with a black man. And I was like, now it's starting to make sense. And you know what they say, once you go black, you better prepare to be a single parent. On the right side though, if the black man is an immigrant, you just increase your child's chance to become the next president. You know? So I was just like, man, can she tell that I'm an immigrant? You know, even a lot of black people can't really tell. And I'm just like, okay, I don't, you know, if I didn't have my papers, then maybe we could have a chance, but my family would really accept her, you know, she kind of has a striking resemblance to Roseanne. You know, and I feel like she would do better finding her African prince on 90 Day Fiancé. You know, I have my papers, I don't need that. Being up here, like, I know in this day and age, we're supposed to not have any prejudices, right? You know, because you're probably like, Junior, why did your family not want you to be with her? It's because she's white? A little bit, right? You know? We all want our people to be with our people. But there are exceptions. There's exceptions to everything, right? So for example, do you guys remember who Donald Sterling is? The name sounds familiar, right? It rings a bell. She's like, the old owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, the NBA team. Do y'all kind of remember the story of, to run back y'all's memory, he used to own the Clippers, and then he was caught being recorded saying some racist things about NBA players, which is ironic because the person who recorded him was his partner, who was also of an ethnic background. But right then and there, I was like, I understand. Regardless of how he feels, she's so attractive, he's still with her. So that's his exception, attractiveness, right? When you want to eliminate prejudice, attractive is one of the exceptions. I'll give y'all another example. Do you guys know Kamala Harris? Yeah, you're like, yeah. So Kamala, she went to an all-black college, joined an all-black sorority, even dated some high-profile black men, but then when it kind of settled down, she saw that white man with the big pockets, and she went ahead and did what she needed to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's the other exception: money or power, right? So, and we understand, right? I'm pretty sure she told her friends, and they're like, "Girl, you want a white man?" And then she was like, "Look at his career." We understand, girl. So there's some I understands. But now, y'all mind if I give y'all some personals? Actually, I got a side note, because now it just got me thinking. So Kamala Harris's kind of relationship track kind of aligns with ethnic feminists, like the minority women who are like, we don't like the white man's the devil, but then they go home and lay with a white man. Some of y'all scared to laugh, like, yeah, we know those people, are we allowed to laugh? You can, it's okay. I got a story to tell you after. Or they're like, Black Lives Matter, F ICE, stop deportations. Okay, F ICE, but you go home into a winter wonderland. So, but I guess, but again, exceptions, right? It's easy to understand when they saw that white man's credit score. I don't hate this one. You know what I'm saying? But so let me give y'all a personal example, okay? Look, I'm touching on some things today. You're like, oh, Jerry, can we lie? No, you can. You can, because I talk a lot of shit. That's what I do. So I have a twin sister. She don't look as good as me, if you're gonna ask. Yeah. So back in college, so context, me and my siblings are citizens of 3 countries. So our family is very inclusive. My parents lived in like 5, whatever. So it was shocking to me when I got a phone call from my mom, and she was like, Junior, do you know your sister has a white boyfriend? I was like, so what? We're inclusive. And plus, she goes to a very prestigious Rice University in Houston, prestigious university. He's probably gonna be successful. She was like, have you seen him? He showed me the picture. Not too bad, but at 19, you shouldn't be looking like Macaulay Culkin does at 35. And I was like, well, doesn't he come? And I was like, well, he's at Rice, he's gonna be successful. Well, my sister's a doctor, so her success that she wants gotta be higher. I was like, he doesn't come from generational wealth. So his attractiveness doesn't overcome his lower credit score. So now my mama so he doesn't pass the exception laws. So he wasn't an I understand. He was more like maybe we should bring back segregation? And so it's kind of like, okay, that is one of the exceptions, all right? But now, I have a fraternity brother in Atlanta, so I lived all over, right? But in Atlanta, actually, another side note, because I like to ramble. I'm an educator, right? I'll be talking those kids' ears off. They have to listen to me, because guess what? The government pays y'all to be here, so you have to. I also get frustrated. So most every ethnic group has their exceptions. The one ethnic group that ignores the laws of the land, black men. Black men, they get they are the ones that get with the white women that the white men don't really want. He's laughing like, bro, I know. You already think of 2 black dudes coming back home, like, God damn. are we allowed to, you can, you can, because I'm thinking like 30 of them right now. That's why that Roseanne twin felt comfortable enough to approach me. Like, jeez Louise. But, you know, so now back to my story, right? So my fraternity brother in Atlanta, he showed us this white lady that he was dealing with. Posted a picture in our group message, and we were like, you know, y'all know what a lot lizard is? Who doesn't know what a lot lizard is? So if you work in the trucking industry, truckers, they spend the night at truck stops. A lot lizard is someone who entertains truckers at truck stops. They kind of look like trailer park treasures, you know what I'm saying? And meth head mammies, you know what I'm saying? So he posted this lot lizard, and I was like, bruh, see, you're doing the stereotype. But then he posted his Apple Pay statements. And she just saved him $10,000 to put money down on his new Ford truck. At that moment, the exception hit. I was like, oh my goodness. You know, if she's paying, I'm slaying, you know? Anyone's a 10 if you're giving me Benjamins. So she became an I understand. So people, my beautiful crowd right here, if you want to help end prejudice, don't bring home and I understand. So who do we do? Do we bring home unattractive people? No. Do we bring home broke people? No. We bring home an I what? Understand. I don't hear you in the back. They bring home an I what? Understand. You understand? Oh man, sorry y'all. I've been in a kind of like talking mess mood, whatever. But so I told you I'm an educator. Now used to be an assistant principal, now I work at the college. And have y'all heard of the Red Pill movement? Okay, do y'all know what Andrew Tate is? Okay, so basically the Red Pill movement is this thing that kind of started with men in protest against the rise of feminism, right? And so I work with these young men, and anytime I start to feel that energy come out, I always check them. Because as someone who grew up in a household of women, I'm a firm believer that feminism benefits men, you know? And they need to understand that. So for example, growing up, I didn't believe in chivalry because I believe men and women are equal. So if I walk with a young lady on the street, I walk on the inside of the sidewalk. Because if that car comes, we both gonna die anyway, so it is what it is, you know? I don't open doors. I don't because that's really rude, honestly. Are we trying to say that women aren't strong enough to pull open a door? This misogynistic bullshit, you know, it's disgusting. Even when I was in college and I walk a girl home from the dorms that night, this is a real story by the way. I will only walk them halfway. And then I'm like, okay, we have to park here. They'd be like, Junior, what if someone kidnaps me on the way? Oh, what if they kidnap me? Like, what are we talking about here? We're walking the same distance, you know? They're like, dude, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with me. I believe that you can handle whatever I can handle. Can we get an amen? Can we get an amen? She's like, Junior, I don't know. Sorry. No, it's, so even growing up with sisters, like my mom, they always used to make me put the toilet seat down. And I was like, that's not fair. They gotta put the toilet seat up? So, my feminist self, I will always make sure I let the toilet seat up so that we can do the equal amount of work. And the satisfaction in knowing that they understand is when they go do their midnight urination and they fall into the toilet. And I hear that screaming, I'm just like, yeah, feminism for all of us, you know? So I do try to shut it down. But now with all the talks of a potential war, you know, these young men are at what the age of selective service. So some of them are worried that they may be selected if push comes to shove. And I'm just like, no, not in our 2026. You know, if we're gonna really embody feminism to the fullest, I think it's time we allow young ladies to join the selective service. Look, y'all not laughing no more. You're like, oh, hell no. Man, we ain't that feminist. Bring back the misogyny today. No, I'm serious. Male seahorses stay home and take care of the kids. Why can't we? I'm good with kids. I'm an educator. Look, I can teach you your numbers and your ABCs. Shit. Imagine how good our military uniforms will look if the ladies took over. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to wear that ugly camel green anymore, you know? That's all. Like, no. See, it becomes real when war Oh, no. So, being truthful, though, it was always a battle growing up with my siblings, you know, because I was the only man in the house. So I was like the only man, my mom, my sisters, and so it was just be like, look, guys, so I had to learn to become petty to survive. Who grew up with sisters? Who grew up with sisters? So you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, how many brothers did you have, though? None. How many sisters? But your mom and sister? Okay. I had a 3-to-1 ratio, because I had 3-to-1. Well, you grew up with sisters?
Yeah.
How many?
4. I have 5.
How many brothers were in the house?
0.
So you know, you're a feminist just like me. We're here, brother. We're here. I feel you, you know? Especially when they all gang up on Anyway, I'm about to keep rambling. It's not my show today. I'm just the host, guys. But thank y'all for listening to my rants today. Can y'all just give me a round of applause for ranting to y'all today? Are y'all ready to meet some of y'all new comments? Ready? He has no choice but to be ready, but I'm still gonna be polite. Feminism. So coming all the way from Pendleton, Oregon, we have Mr. Tanner